It is 9 a.m. October of year 6, a beautiful morning here of our Billionaire series. We've been working hard to get to this $1 billion and that work continues today, man. A lot of work today specifically with doing some selling, emptying out some of these silos, and just getting things ready for the big sale that's about to come towards the end of the year. With how we have most of our crops set up, our selling season is generally in the winter months, and we are getting very, very close to that. In our last episode, we were able to get our fields 30 and 31 here, planted with wheat and barley specifically. Those shouldn't need to be touched again until next year, so not too much to do there today. Now, one thing that does need to be taken care of immediately today is this silo right here is completely filled to the brim with silage. As you can see right there, just under 1 million liters of silage in this guy right here, so we need to empty it on out. With how everything calculates out, we need to sell about 600,000 liters of this today, and it'll be able to process the rest of it. So that is something I'm just going to get started on. We're going to take this up to the animal dealer, and while we aren't selling at the peak price, it's very, very close, and honestly, I could use a little bit of extra cash in my pocket already. You can see we got a good 17,000 in our pocket right now, a decent amount in debt. That's something I showed off last episode, but we do have a good $1 million in debt. However, we also have about 2 million, coming close on 3 million liters of silage that needs to be sold. So we're going to be doing a good amount of selling today. We're going to be doing some of those contracts on the side. Just finished up a fertilizing contract here, so it's going to be a decently busy one, but we're also going to be making some money directly today instead of just setting things up for future episodes. Now, beyond the silage being full, the other thing that is actually getting full is our flour. It is once again backed up. That's something I did last month, and with some of that money coming in today, it might even be a good idea to go ahead and get this bread factory upgraded, our bakery over here. In the meantime, I think I will set this to storing and go grab some of that with the Massey Ferguson. It's a bit of a bummer to have to drive all the way up to the grain mill since it's a bit out of the way and it's going to be taking up some of our storage space here. But at the end of the day, it is money made, so I am not complaining too much. In the long run, I think that's going to be a very, very solid production to upgrade because bread really does increase the product of our yield so much. It's a little bit slow, but hey, investing $60,000 into that to just double its speed, double its capacity, that's going to be something that serves us very, very well over time. Our very first harvest income incoming at $9,000. I mean, hey, that's going to be very useful money to have. I will probably be perusing some contracts to get going at the same time. We have a decently busy one today, and a lot of it is like supply chain type work. That might be something that just continues to grow for us month to month. As the series progresses, I've obviously diversified everything out. I'm earning a bit more money in the off season, but still, our biggest month is January, and just those winter months in general. With so much of our profit being through silage, that makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, pretty much all the greenhouse products, the flour, the bread, all of that is also in the winter months, so kind of supports what we already had going on. So coming on up here, just grabbing some more of that flour just like we did last month. This is probably just going to continue to be a thing until I'm able to upgrade that bakery, so the sooner the better, man. So one development that's actually kind of interesting here is this contract that we were doing with the bales. Now, one thing I neglected to notice until we were already in the baling stage is that the sell point for this guy is very interesting. So we actually have this guy, it wants to take us to the fermenting silo, which appears to be based off of my mod for fermenting my silage. Now, I tested it out. I put a couple of these bales there to see if it advanced the contract. It did not advance the delivery progress, except it did add hay straight up into the production. So I don't think there is a way currently for me to actually finish this contract, which is very not great. So what I think I'm going to do is, instead of just abandoning this altogether, I've already put a lot of time into doing this one. I think I'm just going to gather up all these hay bales and just put them in our storage to be used to feed the sheep. Now, maybe that's a little bit cheesy. I don't know. We're kind of like yoinking the product from the contract itself. But in a way, it's kind of like field flipping, and that's kind of something that I probably should be doing more of, considering we're trying to get to $1 billion, man. It's an insane amount of money. So getting my hands hands just a little bit dirty here, but in all fairness, I definitely thought I would be able to just complete this one. Keep a few extra bales, call it good. Instead, we are keeping a lot of the bales. So at least all of this totally legitimately earned bales are going to a good place. They're feeding the sheepies, man. How can you not like the sheepies? Here's we got us a bit of a traffic jam, brother. Oh boy. So we'll get out of the way here. I was delivering flour while I was collecting bales and just noticed a holdup. Got a good cotton harvest up there next to the grain mill. We will let them on their way. So we got us a good solid 14 bales. Looks like we got, you know, just a few extra, you know, a good 5 or 6 left on the field that I'll come grab right after this. The good news here about all of these bales is that they're gonna feed the sheep for solidly for like a good year or two. I think I calculated it out that sheep will be eating like 6 or 7, maybe 8 bales a year based on how many I have, which I have 63 of them. Was driving by and did see these guys. Probably driven under this underpass about 100 times. You can see our silos right there. Now, I don't have pigs. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get pigs. I don't have cows, but I do have sheep, so. Boop, boop, boop. I gotta collect it, man. I gotta collect it. Getting the sheep one is like my prize for farming sheep, so maybe I'll leave these for when I expand out to other animals. Although I don't know if I'm ever getting pigs, though. We'll see. We'll see. Speaking of sheep, you can see up here, these guys are doing very well. They have not even really made any progress on those bales. They've been munching away, and the pile has not been going down. So it is looking like they probably need like 80 here for a full large barn of sheep, which I technically don't have a full large barn. I left a couple spots open and just in case they do reproduce. I don't know, man. I don't know what's optimal and what's not. I was just kind of doing it because it sounded about right to me. So we will just get these bales backed on up and offloaded here. All right. Oh, we got some on the roof. Excuse me? Well, that should be interesting. I will try to get it down through legitimate means, but I don't exactly know how that happened. It kind of clipped through, so I suppose that's what happens. This is like the Breaking Bad pizza, but with bales on top of my shed. The farmer version of Breaking Bad. Yeah, I mean, look at that thing. That's just like the pizza. Well, whatever. Close enough. So just another little trip here, and I'm thinking it might be upgrade time. Might seem a bit ridiculous to just be spending more money instantly as I get it, but it is just bumming me out having to pick these up, man. I want to turn this flour into bread. Is that really so much to ask, man? Come on. Look at these two working right next to the grain mill. We got a contract going for cotton. Now that is something that would be really, really great to move into someday. That's something I definitely want to do. It's just kind of hard to do since that harvester right there that's being used, while it's a fantastic harvester, it is a ton of money. It's literally like $500,000 for a new one. Maybe that's something I could luck out and get half off from the used auto sale. But even then, that's a good, what, $250,000? And that is just money I do not have to spend right now. I've been wasting it on literally everything else so far. So we got all 3 tractors working. We got some contracts going. It's a busy, busy day. And we're making a little bit of money. A little bit of selling season light, so to speak. I got to get down here, get the rest of these totally legitimate, hard work on my own field that I definitely own. And it wasn't just a contract field. All these bales, they're totally mine. Okay, I got to stop feeling bad about this. It's the way of the world, man. These bales are mine now. It's gonna be a bit weird to just, you know, abandon that contract after taking all of his bales, using his equipment and everything. Oh boy. I've had to have done this contract, what, like 15 times by now? So I mess up once, whatever, man. He can get over it this time. Nobody's perfect, I say as I just yoink literally all the bales off of his field to feed my sheepies. It's all worth it. Every time I start to feel bad, I just look at the sheep pen and I'm like, never mind, we're all good. The other thing I do is look at that bale on top of the shed. Oh, that's just a classic. I don't even know if I want to take it down anymore. It kind of fits in. I mean, it's a waste of a perfectly good bale, but it was a waste of a perfectly good pizza too when Walter White threw it on up there in Breaking Bad, man. So the more you learn. Oh, it's shoving it. I think that's all we can technically collect on this contract. It's actually a bit of a bummer that didn't work out, because we're definitely going to be getting less money this way by collecting all those bales. It was gonna pay us a good like 20 to 25 grand, and it's been a work in progress for a long time, so bit of a loss there, but at least we get something out of it. And you know what, I like the ability to feed our sheep, and it makes it so I don't have to use my own grass for that. So yeah, I'm sorry, Leroy, I'm sorry. I'll take it next time and maybe finish it. Oh, so checking out our lovely bakery, West Hill Bread, just right next to our farm, and just taking a look at things here, and it costs about $55,000 to upgrade this place. I like to think we're putting some of them KitchenAid mixers in there, some bigger tanks for the flour, one of those huge bread hooks, you know what I mean? That's what we're putting in there. We're putting $55,000, which is a lot of money. I think it's gonna pay off in the end, so I'm just gonna go ahead and slam that right now. Bam, done. So now it processes twice as fast and has double the capacity for flour. I think we're likely still going to be a little backed up, but I'll see. But yeah, $55,000 spent on more productions. The wallet is not feeling good. I repeat, not feeling good. Need to stop emptying my bank account to where it's almost near zero pretty much every single month. I love spending money, man. I love it. As I said last episode, I do believe I'm going to do a little bit more of a crop rotation. It feels like I have a bit more of a handle on processing all the grass that we have, so I'm thinking getting some of those shorter term grains like oat processed, sent up to the grain mill is just going to be a really good time. At the same time, we're going to be still getting straw from those, so the silage operation is really just going to be increasing rather than decreasing. Granted, we're turning 2 mowing harvests into like an oat harvest, but it also gives us some silage in the mix, so I think it works out very, very well. Lots of planting, but we have that awesome planter, so I am not complaining at all. It's a fun little time to just see the money go up by another like 10,000 or so every time we sell. Loving that. I love the money in my pockets. I've said it before, worst thing about that little chicken coop there, little rundown chicken coop, is it got no food storage at all. It can only hold 1,000 liters of whatever they're eating. That is one upside of sheep versus chicken that I've noticed. It is so much more hands-off with sheep. It's crazy. All I gotta do is just throw a few bales in there, and that's about it. They're covered for a whole year of eating. All I gotta do is pick up the wool once it comes off their sheepy bodies. And given that I have the barn that you don't actually got to stick water into, which is very, very nice. Some of the other ones you do need to maintain their water. It is extremely hands-off. I love that. I think that's something I'm gonna be just getting a lot more of. In terms of animals, I don't know if I'm gonna want to get anything other than sheep right now. Maybe some cows. That'd be kind of fun to move into eventually and maybe get some of those productions going. But for the time being, if I end up with a bit of extra money to be spent on animals, that'll probably be what I go for first. One last little sort of a supply thing I want to get done is just go grab a bit of that wool that's been building up from our sheep. Given how much they're actually producing, I wonder if getting the spinnery before like a second sheep enclosure here would be a good idea. It's definitely a Tater Man classic, as is known, to be talking about where all of our money is going before I even make it. I am still steeply, deeply in debt, so I really don't know what I'm talking about, and I also don't know where I'm going right now, man. What am I doing here? I think that was just about the worst way I could have gotten to this little storage shed over here, but you know what? We still made it, so whatever. I will not accept judgment over what I just did. All right, just delivered a bit more of that silage. We actually cleared out that silo quite a lot. It's not something I love doing, just selling everything early when we don't have adequate storage for it. But we just didn't have too much of an option. I don't have enough money to upgrade that guy again, which is, in my head, when you upgrade those silos, to me it's almost like it's adding more silos around it, or just like excess room. Maybe that's something I could even do like cosmetically. It kind of just like adds on around it. That's one thing I don't like about the upgrade system, is it doesn't visually make it look different. So I don't know, maybe it'll be something I can mess around with just to make it look a little more, you know, cosmetically appealing. I don't know, but at the end of the day, we're just adding more room. We're building that silo up. Alrighty, so it is November of year 6, and we got us some mowing to do, man. Now, a couple of the fields that we will be mowing today aren't quite in stage 2, but that's alright. We will just grab what we can of the grass before the year is over. No real reason to be leaving them growing, seeing as we're going to be planting them more or less right away in the spring with our oats, so no more time to grow. On top of that, also the peak price for eggs today, $13.92 appears to be the peak for eggs, and we are already well above that at $14.23 at Johnson's Farmers Market. Now, one thing that I decided to do today is I saw an interesting little contract pop up. It's a little contract, $7,000 for a not so big field, but it is for sugar beets. Now, normally I would avoid sugar beets like the plague. However, I did see the equipment used for it is some equipment that actually hits a little closer to home based on that other series that I actually did start. If you guys have not seen it or heard the good news, I actually did start a second series where I am on a modded map, the Iowa River Plains map, and I am trying to cover that very beautiful modded map with potatoes. It is definitely going to be a process. It's going to take a long time, but it's going to be a pretty interesting series. It's very different from Broke to Billionaire in that I start with a decent amount of equipment, tractors, harvesters, that sort of thing. I start with a lot of that already. However, the difficulty comes from actually harvesting all of that stuff and covering an entire map with potatoes. And now, if you haven't farmed potatoes at all in Farming Sim or just a little bit, they are some of the most annoying things to farm in the entire game. So it's a very unique challenge, very interesting, and definitely go give it a watch if you haven't seen already. I will put a card somewhere on the screen, probably top right there. Go ahead and give it a click. The Broke to Billionaire series definitely not going anywhere, obviously, because I'm doing it right now and you're watching. Been having a lot of fun with Broke to Billionaire and had a lot of fun starting that potato series. I'm very proud of that video and hope you guys enjoy it. Trying to branch out a little bit, do some more fun stuff, some unique stuff in Farming Simulator, like covering the map in potatoes. If you guys like that sort of content, if you like challenge series, if you like Farming Simulator or just relaxing simulator series, hey, you gotta subscribe, brother. You gotta do it. Let me see it. Hey, if you just clicked it, great job, man. Old Farmer Taters here is proud of you. Now, speaking specifically of the potatoes, this is actually one of the harvesters that I have in that series. I haven't gotten to the point where I've actually harvested the potatoes. Did a big gigantic plant of them in the first episode and will be harvesting them in the next. So I'm actually very curious about using this harvester. It is a modded harvester. It's a little bit better than the base game ones. It can be used for sugar beets as well, or it has like an extension, like, right, you can get different headers and stuff. So I think I'll get that going there, man. Get it all started, see how it's working. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, just seeing it right now. But yeah, fun times. Very happy to be branching out, and I appreciate all the support on that video and obviously on the Broke to Billionaire series as well. I know you guys love this one, and not to worry, it's not going anywhere, man. I still gotta get to $1 billion, even if it kills me, and it just might, honestly. The finances are not looking good. Now, I got the sugar beet harvest going down there. I was having a lot of fun watching them go, but we have foraging to do, gentlemen. Grass is on the ground and it needs to be picked up. Now, I do have some contracts going for cotton, and I did have an extremely devious idea. I have to admit, maybe this is a little dirty. I don't know, man, but I've already committed. I already yoinked some of those bales last month. I think I'm about to be yoinking some more, man. That's all I'm gonna say. So I do have quite a few cotton contracts going here. That's all of these. The very top one is the sugar beet harvest I was talking about. I think all of these are going to Johnson's Farmers Market. I was thinking about going and selling some of these, and not exactly at the place where I was supposed to be. What I'm referring to is, instead of taking this to Johnson's Farmers Market up here, I take it on down to the spinnery, man. So while I might even be making enemies out of some of these other farmers, what I can do is there's this neat little trick where if you go and offload something at a production facility, so you go and sell it there, right? You're already planning on buying a production facility. If you go and sell something there, you get the full price for that item, while it also fills up that production point. You sell something, you buy the point, you actually kind of like double up on all of your stuff, seeing as you get paid for it, and it also fills up the production point like you had already done it yourself. So what I could do here is take this guy to the spinnery, dump it off, get paid for it, and use some of that money to buy the spinnery itself. I'm thinking that might be a decent idea, if not a little devious, a little nefarious. But hey, you know what? I already got my feet wet in the getting my hands dirty game. With accidentally taking that guy's bales last month with the hay bales. So, I mean, we could keep it going, man. This cotton bale back here is worth a good like 20 grand. So that's a good third of how much it takes to buy the spinnery right there. And the beauty is we got another one waiting right there. So, I mean, you know what? Let's just do it. I've talked about it. It's time, man. It's time. Yeah, look at that. $25,000 right there. Whoo, a little dirty, but you know what? We're doing this. All in, all in. It's basically just a way, if we're already planning on buying a production point like the spinnery, to just kind of duplicate whatever money we're putting in that day. So if I go and buy that right, it's basically just creating an extra $25,000. Definitely slightly on the cheesy side, but at the same time, it is built into the base game. It's not like I'm using any special mods to make that possible. I don't know, just taking advantage of creative game mechanics that necessarily wouldn't be the most realistic in the world. I don't think they would fully pay you for something and not put it in the quote if you were to like buy a factory or something like that. They would definitely include their inventory in the quote to buy that place. So, but hey, creative use of game mechanics is the name of the game, man. The name of the game. Oh boy, speaking of sugar beets, field 68, huh? $60,000. We'll just use that that harvester for that one, I think, and it'll go by really fast, especially if I use maybe my home trailer there just as a little like offload point. I think that would be really quick. We're not going to talk about what I'm doing here. Abandoning contracts that I may or may not have sold their bales elsewhere. I'm so sorry. Whoopsies. Now, one thing I actually did notice, so they actually do have something built into here. So I messed up here, man. It does subtract money. So I had $22,000 taken away from me because of that. So I don't actually keep that money, but it does get sent to the spinnery. So technically it still is able to get produced. I should probably just turn those in legitimately and get the money. So sending your own products there makes a lot of sense. Sending stuff from contracts there, not so much sense. It doesn't duplicate it. Okay, that's good. You know what? I actually feel better now that that is built into the game. So it's definitely just a cheesy day, but whatever, man. We gotta test these things out. It's things I'm curious about, what I can take advantage of, what I can't, all on the way to $1 billion. And just like any other billionaire in the world, I'm definitely getting my hands dirty. Taking advantage of hardworking farmers. Kind of sad when I say that out loud, but you know, man, it's a game, chill out. One thing I almost definitely should start doing is field flipping, because you can see the profit potential from it already. It's basically just exactly what I did, where I took the product here and tried to sell it for like 25K, except I don't get anything subtracted at the end. Little dirty, devious guy that I am. More money in there. I made the money back that they took from me for trying to cheat my fellow farmers. So what's nice is I actually found a contract for a different harvest that lets us borrow a semi-truck. While I don't usually like using these for offloading from the field directly, I find they have a few issues. The semi-trucks are just a little too big and bulky, and just overall have a lot of trouble with it. I love using them as they're, you know, a little more intended to be used, where you offload auger wagons directly into trailers here on a semi, and then the semi, once that fills up, can take it wherever really fast, because, you know, I'm flying here at 51 miles an hour. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I will get this set up down here, make it a little bit easier for the auger wagon to offload into it, and we'll actually just do a little trailer swap. So we'll still be getting all the harvest done at the same time. I will just make sure that this one gets done a little bit quicker than it normally otherwise would. Just an auger wagon is kind of annoying, and just a semi with a trailer is kind of annoying, but together they work really well. Now, we do have multiple harvesters working on this same field. I mean, this field is so big you can't even see the other one across the way. So we just have them on different ends. There is a headland pass here. Oh, you can see them right over there. And they're just going to be doing down and backs until meeting in the middle. Obviously, that one's going to go a lot faster than this one. This one is horrendously slow, and I mean, the waypoint's a little bit off, but it'll fix itself. So you can see a little bit of sunflower harvesting going on. They are doing a great job. A little bit of sugar beet harvesting. Could be going better, could be going worse, but we're making progress on it. You know, it's a little janky, but we got the setup going. This guy's delivering in Tokyo drifting the the whole trailer full of sugar beets there, and still just forage wagoning here, having a great time getting all that grass gathered up. Man, it was just checking the contracts, and absolutely amazing. Look who's back. So apparently he was not sick of me messing up all of his bales last time, probably because he took a bunch of money out of my pocket for doing it, and I can't blame him for that either. So might end up picking up that one as well. So same as ever, I'm getting that giant mow started, and it is more or less fully automated. Double checked this time before accepting it. It's actually going to a non-silo sell point, so I can complete this one. Checking over our secondary silo here, I do notice we are going to need to empty out a little bit more of this silage. I've been dumping some of the grass in here, some of the straw in here, and with how much it's going to process, we need to free up at least like a couple 100,000 more liters of space for the production to keep going. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the tank tractor here and probably do a little bit of offloading. All right, so put a tiny bit of a delay on offloading all that silage. I actually have all hands on deck for this sugar beet contract here. I have both harvesters working here. I mean, you can see how fast this one goes. It's so nice. So we have this harvester, we have this auger wagon, that harvester. We have a trailer from a different contract, that one sunflower one here. He's also offloading sugar beets. We have the trailer from that sugar beet contract as well. And then I also got the Massey Ferguson with our home trailer to help offload the sugar beets as well. It is quite the process. I mean, this contract is going to give us like 60K. So I think, you know, hiring out a few extra workers just to speed the process up makes a lot of sense. It's a gigantic field. Oh man, that guy really took that tight, huh? So I think I'll just go ahead and get that process started. I'll probably clear out a couple 100,000 liters or so of this grass. Although, wait, I realize I don't want to do grass. I want to get silage, man. So I don't know if both of these process at the same time, straw and grass, but it says both of them have 258,000 cycles a month. So technically that means that we'll need like 500,000 liters of silage space open. Yeah, we'll just get that process going, get us a little bit of pocket money. And I got some nice other plans for that wool I see right there. Well, you know, when you have a lot of trailers and AI going at the same time, I guess it's inevitable to come over and see a site like this. Oh man, I thought he was just gonna crash into that guy. Look at this, 3 AI. Oh man, we got it all figured out. Eventually we got there. This guy's going to the animal handler. Those two are going to Johnson's Farmers Market, man. Ooh, we've gotten to the point where they are actually fighting each other, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this guy out of the way here. But hey, that should be his final pass coming back up. All it took was an entire fleet of vehicles to get this field taken care of, which I guess is somewhat realistic. It could take a lot of vehicles just to take care of a field like this. Usually multiple trailers, multiple harvesters, stuff like that. So with all the excitement of those contracts going on, I almost forgot that it is actually time to sell some eggs. So we don't have a crazy amount of them, but we got a decent amount. So I'll swoop around, grab these guys, and get them taken up to the farmer's market owned by Johnson. We all know how old Farmer Johnson feels about me. So while we're delivering those eggs up there and selling that silage, I actually had one other thing I wanted to do this month, and it is getting out some of this wool. A solid amount of pallets, have about 8 of them right here and a couple more at the sheep getting ready. So while wool doesn't peak until April, we can actually do a little trick to get them processing early. It's what I mentioned earlier with the cotton, where you can kind of drop the products off at a production point, so they'll pay you for it, and then if you're gonna buy it anyways, you can just do that right after. And they still have it all in stock, but it costs the same price. What that effectively means is we can more or less just double the profit from all of our cotton, because we are getting paid for it, but also it is in our production chain. So it's basically like we get paid and we get to continue to produce it. We don't have a crazy amount of wool here, but we got enough of it to make this very worth it. So I'm gonna drive this on up to the spinnery and likely just get that thing bought, man. Well, it's definitely ridiculous to be spending a bit more money this month, because it does cost $60,000 to buy that spinnery. By doing this now, we're also able to kind of duplicate that cotton that we put in the spinnery earlier. And really, as soon as I have available money for spending, for even getting a few more fields and stuff like that, cotton's probably the way of the future. Once again, really only real downside there just being how expensive of an overhead it has, with the harvester being so expensive. But I have everything else needed to farm it. It's really just not being able to harvest it with our harvester. The one downside of cotton, but it has such a huge profit potential that it can be very worth it to kind of push through that. Alrighty, selling them eggs to good old Farmer Johnson. Looks like it was around $11,000, $12,000 or so. Not too shabby. Look, we're gonna sell all of this cotton. All right, it's sold, or wool, not cotton. It's only worth 10K, which is a little bit disappointing, but hey, look what we're doing right here, man. Come on in here, spinnery, 60K, done. Ooh, look at this. Already have materials in here. Oh, baby. I mean, you can see right here, we only run 576 cycles a month. This is gonna last a really long time. We can only go through a few thousand liters of cotton a month, so yeah, it's just gonna be churning that out, making that fabric. We'll keep it on storing for now. Maybe I will just be saving that for whenever we're able to get into clothes production, which will be very, very exciting. And while I was yapping and doing all of that, we actually sold pretty much all the silage I want to be selling, so I think I'll halt that. Alrighty, finally finishing up that giant sugar beet contract. We just turned in the last of it, got a little money in our pocket, a little bit lower than it was earlier, just paying back a bit of that loan as we go. But look at these 3 right here. Oh baby, collect, and collect. Oh, look at that. It was a long November filled with contracts, new productions, some exciting stuff like that, and just a little bit of selling. But speaking of selling season, I think we're just gonna get right into it, man. I got a few things to sell next month and the big silage sale coming in January, so I'll just have to see y'all there, man. All right, it is a beautiful, clear December morning here, and selling season has officially begun, baby. You can see we got some bread here peeking out at 1781. Very excited about that. On top of that, we do have a decent amount of flour in there. I'll probably just offload some of that. Everything's above how it sells normally. I think I'll offload a good amount of this. We do have a little bit of a backup of flour in our production chain here. You can see we got plenty in storage, and we've almost processed through everything we put in there. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to put any more in there until at least June, when we can harvest that barley, since everything else is harvested a little later in the year. Very, very unfortunate, but that's all right. It's just a few months of downtime. Sounds like I just need more grain though, man. But either way, we are going to be doing some selling today. I think I will get all the bread and most or all of the flour as well. Let's get that bread. We have a decent amount at the bakery that I have not picked up yet, so we will need to go grab that. we got a solid 13,000 liters of bread, so that should sell very, very well, man. We got our very first bread sales coming in hot, and hopefully they did not see me when I crashed that one time and the bread totally didn't touch the ground. Of course, of all people, it's going to Farmer Johnson. He don't need to know about that especially. Oh yeah, okay, 20K right there. Yeah, so about 23K worth of bread, and that was just from a few months of processing. So that is very, very nice. I'm expecting a lot more profits next year. I guess the one downside is we're gonna need to figure out how much grains we need to have to fully fill that thing and just have it running all year long. You can see after that $26,000 sale, I have 41,000. I did pay off the loan a bit. It's gonna look a lot better soon enough, but yeah, we're under 1 million now, which is very, very nice. I think I'm just gonna sell like all the flour. I'm pretty sure that the flour that I've already made and it's sitting in the bakery is going to last quite a long time. So I'll do at least like a run or two and just sell all of our flour. So this is going to Grocery Mart. I've only sold there like once or twice. The one unfortunate part about getting the spinnery is there is no clothing shop or tailor shop, whatever, on Elm Creek. So that's something I'll have to build myself. And that's going to cost about $100,000. The benefit being, you know, it's mine after I build it. It's not like I have to buy it or anything after that. So that's something I'll have to consider. It's just a bummer that I also have to, you know, section off an area of land to actually build that thing. It wouldn't be a half bad idea to build it somewhere over here, because it seems like Grocery Mart is literally the only place that buys the clothes after it's processed. So yeah, we'll see. All right, selling the flour. Not quite as high of a yield as bread, but still pretty good. I don't know how the AI backed these things up, man. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I'll never be able to see what our flour sales are. Oh! That's one way to do it, I suppose. I don't even know what that was. I want to say it was like 15,000 or something like that. Sounds about right to me. Okay, was able to get it all that time. That was only $9,000, a little less than expected, but alright, I think that's just about it for December, man. Alright. So, a little bit into the afternoon here. It's about 2 in the afternoon. It's time to get selling that silage, man. But I will get these guys going on up. We also have our miters and lettuce to sell today, as is tradition. Gonna be a good day, baby. Final tally of silage. Look at this. We almost calculated this out perfectly. So this is just under 1 million liters. We'll call it 1 million liters from the larger silo. And then this one, ooh, baby. 1.4 million. All right, so we have 2.4 million liters of silage to get sold here. That's gonna take a while. That is gonna take a while. All right, taking our first trip of vegetables up to the bowling alley. It was the top price for both of them, but especially for lettuce. The price there for lettuce is really, really good. So this should be a pretty decent profit on these guys. The first of many sales there, $10,656. We got a lot of silage to offload today, so that is the first of many to come. In terms of what I do want to buy next, more sheep, probably a good idea, especially now that we have the spinnery. Might even be a good idea to get a little more land now that I've seen that whatever we're doing right now is not allowing the grain mill to run 24/7, or at least like there's a bit of downtime. There's gonna be a few months of downtime, which is just not what I want. I want that thing to be going 24/7, man. All right, first sale of our products there. Sold products, $13,000. Got a few more trips of those. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna slam all this out and think about how I'm gonna spend the money, which is just a classic for me. That's what I do, baby. Make $1, plan on how I can spend $10. You know what I mean? Extend that infinitely, and that's this whole series, I think. Well, it was inevitable. This was always gonna happen, man. They just expect this at this point from me. I even have a trailer weight and everything, man. Probably why I should just let the AI drive up here. I can't be trusted with this much weight on a trailer. Okay, so it has been quite a while. I'm not gonna lie, this has taken like multiple hours. I mean, you can see the repair level on this guy and the repair level on this guy. I refueled him at least once. So you can see we have about 250,000 liters left of silage to be sold out of our main home silo. Secondary silo I already cleared out. It's got a solid 2,000. I actually had time to like go leave my computer, go cook dinner. I watched a little bit of TV, man, just while the AI were taking this back and forth, and hoo boy, it has taken a while. But if you look in the top right, ooh, that's a nice looking number right there, man. Now, considering how much money I have spent this year, which, let's be honest, I spent a lot of money this year. I spent a whole lot of money. Feels pretty good to be up this much at the end of the year. What this has convinced me of, because like I said, this has literally taken multiple hours. They have had to go back and forth so many times, me included. I've driven a bunch with 2.5 million liters or so, give or take, of silage and 2 trailers that can carry about 50,000 liters each. I mean, you can do the math on that. That is way too many runs of silage to be sold. It has taken so long. I think I'm gonna need to do something to make this quicker, because I'm even trying to scale it up even more, you know what I mean? Trying to get even more silage by the end of this year. So I'll probably be looking at getting some better transport, just making this all go quicker, because to get to $1 million, I can't have this taken so long. So yeah, it's been a very exciting year 6. I'm trying to think of everything that we bought. Got a lot of our productions very ramped up. We did our very first barley and wheat harvest, our first real crop rotation with all of the grains. And this year was like, we really went hard into getting straw and putting that through our silage setup. And that is where a lot of the silage came from. I haven't spent any of the money or put it anywhere, just because I wanted to kind of rack up in my bank account a little bit, just to prove that I can make money. I don't spend it all. But it's kind of funny because I've had this on 0.5 speed this entire time. I want to say in game I started at like what didn't I say, it was like 2 p.m. and now it's what, 4:30? Oh man. So that means at halftime, real time, that was like, it's like over 3 hours this whole day. We're gonna need to get some trailers with bigger capacity. That's like a need right now. Alrighty, taking it on up, the end of a very long day of driving silage around. Just about does it for year 6 though, man. Another one in the books. Gonna have to think about how I want to spend all this money, man. You know, that's my favorite part. Making money, yeah. Spending money, oh baby, there we go. Starting to realize why this series has not gone as quickly as I thought it would. Get that $500,000. We haven't been at $500,000 in quite a while. So just going down the list, do have a loan of $915,000, which is a lot better than where it was just a month or 2 ago. So sold products. This is what, all of our bread, flour, or that was December. So this is all lettuce and tomatoes, I think. That's pretty good. 41,000 for that. 51,000 from the grain products. That's also awesome. On top of that, here's the big boy right here. $469,000. This is silage. This is all silage. Ooh. So almost $500,000 alone from silage. Didn't do any contracts this month or anything, but we're very fortunate to get a few good ones in here from earlier in the year. Total money made this month, $495,000. So just over 500K to end year 6, man. If you enjoyed the video and have been enjoying the series, make sure to hit the like button. I appreciate it a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next one in year 7, baby. Let's go.